The episode opens up with Thor telling the Avengers that the fire giant, Surtur, has returned. Meanwhile, Surtur tells Amora the Enchantress that she is going to serve him just as he engulfs her. At the same time, Surtur uses the Twilight Sword to unleash an army of ugly-ass monsters who begin wreaking havoc in the galaxy. Thor tells his half-brother, Balder, that it should be him on the Muspelheim border instead of Odin, who could be going up against Surtur at any moment, claiming that although Odin is powerful, his powers are weakened since the Tree of Life is still healing. Balder tells him that he should not be questioning Odin's power and wisdom, but Thor finds himself lost in his own thoughts. Before Balder can say anything else, Thor claims that he thinks Odin does not deem him worthy of fighting next to him. Balder then informs him that Heimdall has reported that there is still no sign of the Enchantress. However, Thor is not worried about the Enchantress, since he thinks that the Avengers are more than capable and can deal with her, claiming that he is worried about another fine-ass mortal named Jane Foster, since he finds himself thinking about her more often than his own people. When Sif hears this, she tells him that he should return to the place where he feels home. She claims that she does not recognize him as the warrior he once was because he has become fearful and wants the company of mortals more than his own people. Before he can defend himself, Odin appears in front of him. He reveals that Surtur is no longer in Muspelheim since the seals have been broken, and nothing can be done to prevent his escape. Confused, Sif wonders why Surtur has not attacked Asgard. Odin claims that he does not know why, and what is even more worrying is that Surtur has found a way to remain hidden from his eyes. Just then, Volstagg bursts into the room and reports that Heimdall has found something. Odin tries to get up from his throne, but seeing how much he is struggling, Thor tells him to rest and assures him that he will handle everything. He then goes to meet with Heimdall, who tells him that he has sensed a ship with Surtur's evil energy flying through the void of Midgard. To his surprise, Thor claims that he will go after the ship. Since Thor insists on going without bothering Odin, Heimdall creates a path to guide him through to the ship. Thor flies through the galaxy towards the ship when all of a sudden, he starts getting attacked as the ship begins firing lasers at him. He manages to avoid getting hit and makes his way inside the ship. He finds himself in a cryo chamber and begins to inspect the pods when a creature who later introduces himself as Beta Ray Bill attacks him. However, Thor does not stay down for long and quickly gets up to defend himself. He throws his hammer at the creature and tells him to surrender. Back in Asgard, Sif informs Odin that Thor has decided to fight against the threat on his own, and that he might be in danger. As soon as Odin hears this, he decides that it is time for him to act and save his son, who might be in more trouble than any of them realize. On the ship, the weird-ass creature picks up Thor's hammer that was lying next to him from the attack and yields lightning, but before he can hit Thor, he is teleported back to Asgard. When he appears in Odin's court, all of his warriors begin attacking Beta Ray, but he uses Mjolnir's power to knock all of them back. It is not until Odin decides to intervene that he gets Mjolnir back and asks him where Thor is. Meanwhile, out in the galaxy, Thor calls out to Heimdall when he hears an automated voice telling him that Heimdall's presence can no longer be detected. On the other hand, Odin uses Mjolnir to summon Thor back to Asgard. As soon as Thor arrives in Asgard, he tries to fill his father in on what went down in the ship, only to find that the creature is in the courtroom with them. Confused, Beta Ray claims that he does not understand why Odin and Thor are emitting a demon's energy, but are much different than the ones that attacked his people. Thor realizes that Beta Ray's people were attacked by Surtur, and he explains to the creature that he is Thor, Odin's son. When he asks Beta Ray what happened to his people, he reveals that his people were known as the Corbinites. The Corbinites lived in peace until one day they were attacked by the demons. Since they had been unprepared for such a brutal attack, they were caught off guard. Several Corbinite people lost their lives, but the rest continued to put up a fight against the demons. However, when their stare began to flare, they knew that their time was up. This is why the surviving Corbinites were placed in cold sleep to prevent their bloodlines from ending. Beta Ray Bill was appointed as their guardian. He underwent modifications using the Corbinite genetics and technology to become the best version of himself. Despite leaving their planet, Beta Ray and his ship were chased by Surtur's demon army. He then turns to Odin and tells him that he would like to borrow Mjolnir to fight against Surtur's army, claiming that he is up against Surtur's army alone and needs as much help as he can get. Confused, the warriors question how Beta Ray was able to lift the hammer, to which Thor responds by saying that it can be lifted by anyone who is deemed worthy. Seeing how determined he is to protect his people, Sif requests Odin's permission to assist Beta Ray in his quest. At the same time, Thor offers to hand Mjolnir to Beta Ray, but Odin tells him that there may be another way. He sends them to visit Atri, the king of Daroves, and ask for his help. At first, Atri refuses to help them, claiming that Odin had abandoned him and his people after promising to protect them against Surtur. However, when Thor reminds him that they are risking the destruction of all 9 dimensions, he agrees to help in exchange for a favor that he will recall in the future. Once Thor agrees, he hands them the Stormbreaker, a powerful axe, just like Mjolnir. Then Sif, Beta Ray, and Thor travel back to the galaxy and head for the ship. By the time they reach the ship, they notice that it has been overtaken by demons who have covered every inch of it. Not deterred, Thor and Beta Ray quickly jump into action and summon lightning before attacking the demons. They manage to tackle quite a few of them, but this is when they notice Amora, the Enchantress, appear in front of them. Beta Ray wants to take her down as well, but Thor recognizes her and claims that she is not their enemy. Just as he says this, the Enchantress, who had received the power of the fire demon, attacks them. Thor realizes that her powers have doubled and she is able to summon demons every time she attacks them. Beta Ray tells Thor that things have changed as the two of them charge towards the Enchantress, intending to take her down. Once Thor reaches her, he asks Amora how she can side with the Demon King who will burn everything down. This breaks Surtur's spell on Amora momentarily, and she manages to scream for help before getting engulfed by his evil flame again. She orders the demons to get rid of both the superheroes and bring their hammers to her. Not far from them, Sif watches the fight, but when Thor and Beta Ray begin to get overpowered by the demons, she decides to jump into the fight as well. She lands on the ship and destroys every demon that crosses her path. When she sees a demon slipping past her and heading inside the ship, she quickly follows after it and manages to kill it before it has the chance to disturb the Corbinites sleeping in the cold chamber. All of a sudden, weapons emerge out of the ground and point towards Sif, ready to fire. That is until Sif calls out the code Beta Ray had told her about. When the ship recognizes the champion code, it introduces itself as Scuttlebutt and welcomes her on board. Sif tells the ship that they are in danger and asks if they can fly despite the damage the ship had sustained from an earlier attack. Scuttlebutt informs her that the self-repairs are almost done. Once the ship is rebooted, Sif points towards the Enchantress and commands the ship to head towards her. Thor and Beta Ray watch as the ship flies towards Amora. But before it can reach her, several demons land on the ship and begin tearing it apart. With the demons inside, Scuttlebutt informs Sif that the cold chambers are in danger because of the breach. While Sif prepares for a battle against the countless demons, Thor tells Beta Ray that they need to stop the Enchantress, who is controlling the demons, because without her, the demons will not exist. They try to attack her, but realize that she is too powerful for them to take her down alone, and decide to combine their powers to take her down. Meanwhile, Sif fights against the demons inside the ship. When the demons continue to increase in number, she begins to feel overwhelmed. However, Scuttlebutt saves the day as it activates the weapons that attack the demons, giving Sif enough time to recover and continue fighting with renewed vigor. Out in space, Thor and Beta Ray combine their bolts of lightning and attack the Enchantress with it. This causes her to revert back to her normal state. When the two of them move towards her and tell her to surrender, they are surprised to hear Surtur telling them through the Enchantress that she is long gone. Before they can do anything, the Enchantress disappears without leaving a trace behind. Seeing this, Beta Ray asks Thor if he believes that the Enchantress is gone forever, but Thor refuses to give up on her. Sometime later, they reunite with Sif, who assures Beta Ray that his people are safe and unharmed. He thanks Thor and Sif for helping him against the demons, promising to repay the debt by helping them whenever the need arises. Thor prepares to leave, but Sif offers to stay back with Beta Ray. Although he appreciates her company, he tells her that she is needed elsewhere and that he will join them when they finally go up against Surtur. With this, Sif and Thor head back to Asgard, where she apologizes to Thor for making assumptions about him that she found to not be true after his valiant display of heroism. Unbeknownst to them, away from the watchful eye of Odin, ugly-ass Surtur works on creating the perfect weapon to help him with his plans. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos, and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.